Hello, I'm ToycatA, and welcome back to an episode of the Minecraft Bedrock Update Adventures Let's Play. This is the weekly update as to what's been going on, both in my survival world, as well as life, the universe, and everything in between. And you know what really upsets me? People who assume because I don't have mending on every single tool that I must be really, short on mending books. Like, oh, it really sucks, let me guide you on how to get mending, because surely every single disposable diamond pickaxe in your world is something that you must want mending on, right, Toycat? The answer is no, I don't want mending on everything. There are a bunch of reasons not to want it, but because I get a non-stop stream of people who are like, oh, Toycat, let me guide you on exactly how to get mending. I'm sure you don't have villagers with it, because I totally agree. Even though I would love for mending to actually be rare, it is not rare in the current Minecraft game. You can trade for it if you find a, librarian villager, and you keep on resetting their trades till they get mending, which means to prove, to everyone right now that I really do have enough mending, here is a set of shears. In fact, it's not even a well put together part of shears. It's like only 75% durability. Here is me using a mending book on those shears. Now I have shears with mending 1, and that is hopefully proved to all of you. But in case you're like, oh, well, you're just proving a point. Now you're being even more wasteful. You should be enchanting these efficiency 2 pickaxes, not these shears right here, Toycat. Well, for all of you, allow me to go out to my my iron smelting thing, I guess. Right now we've got some gold in there, but for all of you, let me take some of my iron nuggets that I've smelted down from various villager gear, let me craft that into an iron ingot, and let me show you the other ridiculous thing that you can put mending on, technically speaking, because did you know flint and steels can only have access to 2 enchantments in Minecraft, unbreaking, which I actually do have a real shortage of. Wow, maybe people should... actually, no, we just gotta do enough villager trade resetting. But anyway, with that said, here is a flint and steel, something that you never really want to enchant, but here's me enchanting it with mending anyway. As you can see, I've got plenty of mending, and now to prove it, I've got a nice full enchanted set of gear, including shears in it. There's something ridiculous about this, right? Like, the shears, at least they kind of look like they should be glowing, but look at this flint and steel. Look at this. This really doesn't feel like it should be. But, you know what? Today, just for the sake of proving a tiny minority on the internet wrong, you better believe I'm going to be using these mending shears and pointing out why you might want these, because even these flint and steel, I reckon, is a better target for mending than a silk touch diamond pickaxe that you intend to dispose of, and let me prove to you why today. So I've had this idea forever because I have a genuine problem with netherrack in my world, as in I have far too much of it. Even if we look right here, I have like shulker boxes filled with it, just lying around everywhere. It's a serious problem, I would say. So we're going to take some netherrack, and you can probably see where this one's going, but we're going to take that netherrack, and do you know what I'm going to do with it? Well, since I already built my overworld in the nether, it's really nice. You can't even tell that it's the nether, besides that one magma cube having to prove me wrong. But, after building the overworld in the nether, do you know what the next logical thing to do is? Wow, I sure am glad you asked me, rhetorical voice in my head, because you know what we should do? We should place the nether in the end, because I already do have this end village that I've been slowly working on. If I'm being honest, I kind of abandoned the project because Enderman keeps stealing my sand. They managed to spawn here and teleport here from the neighboring islands. It's a real big problem, especially because there's such a big neighboring island that I can never truly eliminate all of them. It's also made even worse by the fact that Enderman can pick up sand blocks, removing the torches, allowing more Enderman to spawn. It's a whole nightmare, and you know what the fix of that nightmare is? Stopping Enderman from spawning in places perhaps nearby. So here is this island nearby my eventual desert in the end. Again, you know what? There's lots of terraforming projects happening simultaneously, okay? But here is a desert that is nearby this, and wow, it's a real problem that there are dark spots where Endermen like this can spawn. Do you know what would be really handy? If we could perhaps light it up so no more Endermen could spawn. But you know what the problem is? Just placing down torches, that's not fun. That's not end-themed, really. But you know what really is end-themed? Going over here and placing myself down a netherrack block. And then we can light that on fire with our flint and steel with mending. And wow, we used up some of the durability on that, and we're going to do so again just over here. Actually, let's do this on like a 6x6 pattern. The same thing we're doing in the overworld. So if this is 354, 1122, we'll go to 1116, I guess, over here. And we'll place another block. And then we'll light that on fire as well. And then we'll go 6 blocks this way, I guess. And then we'll place a block over here as well. And wow, is that 6 blocks? That should be 6 blocks. Light that one on fire. And now, not only are we now lighting the place on fire, but we're also stopping mobs from spawning. So it's if an Enderman does teleport onto the fire, he gets in some real trouble, and he dies just in case as well. It's a double protection against Enderman, except, wow, all of this netherrack that we're placing, because I think we'll also, entirely just terraform this into netherrack blocks, as you can see right here. But wow, there's a real problem, because all of these blocks that I'm lighting on fire, I mean, if I place another one over here, right, 3, 4, 5, oh, I guess 6 is down there. We light another one on fire, and you can start to see that my flint and steel is running out of durability. Well, the cool thing is, while the project is being worked on, Endermen will spawn here. And do you know what Endermen are famous for? Besides stealing your stuff and giving you creepy looks and having eyes that apparently look like the glow squids, Endermen are famous for dropping more experience than most other mobs. If you didn't know that already, now you do. Most hostile mobs drop 5, most non-hostile mobs drop 1 to 3, and an Enderman drops 10 experience. So, if all we have to do right here is kill some Endermen, which is always annoying when you want to do it. They only attack you when you don't want to be attacked. Which I guess is really how attacking should work. But all we have to do is kill the Enderman, and then grab our flint and steel, and what's this? Oh, all that damage that we just sustained to the flint and steel, it's being fixed right there. We now have more, fires that we can light, which is great because that allows us to get rid of more Endermen, which can light more fires, and boom. Now I've found a better use for having mending on your flint and steel than there is for having a silk touch pickaxe of mending. Because you know what you do with a silk touch pickaxe? You use it to mine things that won't give you experience. If you're just mining stone with it, stone doesn't give you XP. If you have a lot of silk touch pickaxes, if you're blessed like me, or if you can just repair them when they're done and use up less experience anyway. Because fun fact, you might think that like, oh yeah, mending is basically free durability fixing. A lot of people have gotten that in their heads, but the truth is that's not how that works at all, actually. Like, the way that mending works is mending, uses experience you'd otherwise be getting, and it just immediately, automatically repairs the tool a bit. But that's not free. That's not how free works at all. That is costing you as you're going along. So instead, I'll pick up the experience via other means, and then I can use it to repair my silk touch pickaxes. If I've got a fortune pickaxe that is mining a bunch of stuff, you can see I do actually have one here. That's a great opportunity to use mending. Wow, if I have a sword that I'm using to kill mobs, great opportunity to use mending. If the Elytra uses a really dumb material to repair now because of the phantom having to have a use, even though it doesn't actually have a use, if that's the situation, which, let's pray it's not, but we know it totally is, then Elytra's great use for mending. Same with armor, because you're killing mobs and then, they're sometimes hurting you, needing you to give more stuff. Great uses for mending. But what isn't a great use for mending? Your shears, although, we can make a whole video about why shears need mending. But today, we just have those while we talk about how great the flint and steel mending is, and how much it's going to help this project really get off the ground. So yeah, I have myself a bit of a new project here in the end, but this is a bit of the end that I'm working on anyway. Worst case, we make something that's, great to look at, and best case, we eventually have, like, a really great use for this netherrack place. Here's a fun fact you might not know about Minecraft's original intent. But did you know endstone was just a inverted texture of cobblestone? Cobblestone used to just have the same texture as end, but now if you look at it, it's pretty much the same as the nether texture. Obviously, they're redesigned so they're not just reuses of each other, but you can see how, like, oh yeah, the netherrack actually kind of looks like the end, so there is a justification for doing this. Except, do we need justification for doing things? If there's one rule about this survival let's play, it's that we don't need justification. The whole point is we do things because why not? Rather than asking why you should do something, sometimes people need to ask, why shouldn't you do something? Is there a compelling reason as to why not? One of my favorite life rules that I try to follow is like, if there's not a sign explicitly telling you not to do something, there's a good chance that you can either do the thing and get away with it, or that you can claim ignorance and be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see a sign, or something like that. And, is that a worse way to live in society? You better believe it is, but as long as no one notices, then we're all great in that way. So yeah, we're gonna cover this place in netherrack, which I don't know if Enderman can even spawn on unlit netherrack, but just in case they can, it's gonna deal with two problems at the same time. It's gonna be real great. And also, we'll pick up some torches, which I can use to light that main island, because again, so many Endermen have picked up so much sand that now there is a darkness over there that we can hopefully fix and go through all of that. So there's one other question I have to answer, actually, which, for myself, actually, no, not for myself, I totally know the answer, I'm just doing it for all of you. What's in this shulker box over here? Like, I saw this a couple of times earlier today, and I just have to wonder, like, okay, there's a shulker box near the beacon, that was probably the shulker box that I moved the beacon around with. What's in this? Take a guess right now. Okay, it's probably endstone, right? Oh, endstone and some some ice. So we should pick that up, put some ender pearls on there, because we've got abundance of those. And I'm going to use it. I'm going to pick it up with my non-mending pickaxe. Does that hurt you all? It shouldn't, because it's the normal thing for your Silk Touch pickaxes not to have mending. Normalized lack of mending. So yeah, we've got like a big project in the end here. And you can see how already just the effort we put in the last like 10 minutes here, not even really that, has resulted in like a really nice appearance. Like fire looks cool, but it also is exactly the same light as a torch. And then the Netherrack kind of adds to that as well. So let's fly back over there and let's do the standard Let's Play stuff, you know? Everyone, you know, we don't have a vlog series on this channel, kind of deliberately, but a lot of people there for us, like, so how you been, ToycatA? Especially in these times. And, you know, I think asking people how they've been and like, actually caring about the answer is especially important in these times. So, you know, I'm going to ask you, how have you been? And, you know, it doesn't work because this is a Let's Play video, right? Like, I can't listen out for your answer. This isn't Dora the Explorer, but with feelings. But instead, wow, it seems so polite that I asked you how you're doing, and you didn't respond. But, you know, I guess if you're not going to respond, I'll just answer with how I've been doing over the last week. And the answer is mostly good. I'm getting dangerously close to the... I don't know, like, one of the things that I'm going to miss about America is definitely going to be the food. I'm only here until I cannot be here anymore, which I guess is how a lot of people describe where they're. Actually, you know, mostly we go places kind of our own volition. When it comes to my current issues that make me in America, those current issues then repeat themselves in about another few weeks. So I've been trying to enjoy, you know, what I can while also making sure to, you know, be careful or whatever else. Shall I just remove that torch and then do this? Wow, yeah, I should totally do that. But yeah, so I've been trying to live some American fun life. I had a one of my favorite places that like I think is known as like garbage in America. Well, I love Dairy Queen. Like it's definitely horrific for you. Like I had a ice cream. It's called a Blizzard. I don't know why it's called a blizzard. There's probably some really fun story like, oh yeah, well, you know, we were stuck in a blizzard in Minnesota, and you know what we had to do? We had to go ahead and we had to, you know, make one of these drinks just so we could survive the weekend. Yeah, again, I don't know the official story, but I imagine it's something cutesy and close to that, right? But so yeah, I really enjoyed a blizzard, but it was like so bad for me, and I spent the whole day just being like, why did I consume like 1,000 calories, like a solid half a day's meal as a drink in addition to my meal? You know, that's the question I so often answer in America. I have to ask myself, like, man, that was a bad decision, huh? But I kind of like the ability to make bad decisions my own behest. Like, that is something that you don't see in a lot of parts of the world. The ability to just make bad decisions. And it's really interesting because, like, if you are, like, in charge of the world, or just in charge of the country, you know, you're someone who has power over everyone else within your same country. It seems like, you know, your position is like to stop people making foolish mistakes. You know, in fact, even if you're just like in head of like a household, right? You're a parent, or perhaps you're a Minecraft YouTuber, and therefore you must tell people to vote or whatever. You know, like, you know, I've seen a lot of memes about that comment last week. Like, I'm an influencer, therefore I must tell you to vote. But like, that's how people took it, and it's like, yeah, you gotta inform people. They're gonna regret not voting. Am I right? But I think ultimately the reason I don't do the whole like tell you to vote every 10 minutes. I think this Let's Play is coming out like just before. I think there is no opportunity for you to vote if you haven't done so already anyway. But so you know, now that you can't vote, I'm gonna be like, yeah, bet you wish you had, right? Oh, you don't wish you had because you know you're just kind of bored of people telling you to. And that's the ultimate thing I'm trying to say right here. I think the ability to make bad decisions is something I value because I think it's really great to be an autonomous person who can learn from your own mistakes rather than being forced to learn from others. Like, learning from people's mistakes is great when you choose to do so. Someone trying to force you to learn from their mistake, probably not so great, right? There's a key difference there. You know, you ever read a 1-star review of a place, you know, perhaps a restaurant, perhaps a Dairy Queen, where you consume 1,000-calorie blizzards that have 3 times your daily sugar intake and make you throw up at 3 a.m. And you know, like I woke up to throw up. That was an interesting experience. But you know what? I think it's just my body's not used to that amount of sugar. I love sugar, but like, you know, I had already had a lot of sugary things that day. I think I just took myself over the limit. But you totally see what I'm saying, right? Like I think going making mistakes, making decisions and stuff kind of needs to have an element of wanting to do it. You can't like trying to force anything is always gonna have some issues. With that said though, let's grab our shulker box full of Nevrac, because what the cool thing about Nevrac is? It's a functionally valueless resource. In my opinion, I've just mined so much of it over time. Like in there's gravel and there's a blackstone in this box. You just mine so much of it, and so it's a really great one if you want to cover a place up. And you know what? This is the perfect synergy of the flint and steel mending. It seems useless, but if you use it enough, it becomes really valuable. And yeah, my goal now is actually to use this one flint and steel for this entire job. Because if you've ever seen my Enderman farm, there's a lot of fires lit there, and I just use 7 flints and steel. It's not very efficient use of my flint, is it? I mean, flint is so useful in Minecraft. It's kind of sad. They made gravel vaguely useful for building, so you can make concrete with it. But now it makes flint like even now it makes the almost useless part of gravel like the flint, because later in the game, like, oh, I'm gonna craft arrows because I totally need so many arrows all the time in survival. Infinity is definitely not an enchantment that exists anymore. Sad face. But yeah, with that said, we're rambling a tiny bit. So just to stay on track, I just wanted to say, yeah, I made a mistake this last week, but I like living somewhere that trusts me to make my own mistakes. That doesn't say, whoa, you're about to make a mistake there. We'd better stop that right now. You're about to commit a crime against yourself. That's even though that's a thing that does exist in other areas here, and it's kind of the most ridiculous thing, right? Like you're about to do something so bad against yourself that we've got to stop you right now. And it's like, I don't know about that one so much. There's a lot of dangerous territory you can get into real fast if you say that people can do that sort of stuff. But it is an interesting one to think about. So what else have I been up to in the last week? And the simple answer is like, a lot of my favorite things that I do in a given day are usually like food. Like sometimes like I will like long for food all day, and then it's like the fulfillment of my being when I get there. And also because of I've been recently like trying to find myself like something to basically I've been trying to find a way to fill certain hours. I used to really like live streaming with it, and I think I definitely want to get back on that bandwagon. But I think like as a way to like regroup and rebuild on that stream front, because I wake up at such different times in America than I would in the UK, and like it's been messing with stream times. So I figured like let's have like a grand return to streams at some point in the future, and therefore I've been doing a lot more like gaming not in front of the public, I guess. Both playing some Minecraft and making some map stuff happen. If you're curious as to why I had signs in my inventory, I have a big announcement to make about that I'll dive into a second. But also I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone just as like I like having casual games. I think I've said this before, and it's something that seems weird to some people, but I think there is a concept of like a comfort game. Minecraft is a game that brings me some comfort when I play it. Like working on this right now as we talk, this is a really fun experience for me. Like it, a lot of people look at these projects and they're like, "ToycatA, seriously? You're literally just covering some endstone with some Nevrac. Like, how is this a fun, interesting experience?" Because also you look at it and you're like, "Wait, you're doing this in such a weird, over the top." Like I've had countless comments over the times about like, "Wait, so what is the pattern you're trying to do there? I really can't work it out. Like, why do you keep going from area A to B to C, etc.?" And the simple answer to that question is like, you know what? There isn't really much of a pattern. There's lots of different like patterns that I switch between because that's what I like to do. I have this intense desire internally to be doing, I guess, something different at all times. Like I have like very strong passion and focus on what I'm doing, and then it switches, in 20 minutes time, and then in another 20 minutes time, I'm like, oh, I should have been doing that first thing, right? Like, it's I'd say it's a problem. I've heard the term like hyperfixation or something, but I don't really like trying to use medical terms outside of there. Like, again, like I think the idea of like a self-diagnosis or something is gonna have a lot of issues real fast. So I'm just trying to say I like to switch very rapidly between what I'm working on in a given moment, and Minecraft is great for that. Like a project like this can be done in so many different ways, and those different ways can be done kind of simultaneously if you want to. Yeah, this wall is going to be a real nightmare, so we're going to come back for this later, because my plan is actually to like maybe trim it down even more or something like that. We'll work it out as we go later. But for now, let's just come back to that wall. Because these used to be one island. I deliberately separated these little tendrils into two because I wanted more space between my desert island and the next one. So I might do some more of that, mining later down the line. But yeah, I've got some big announcements to make about this Let's Play world. See, we can go over here. We can work on expanding it this way. Like, I'm kind of like taking over this, island bit by bit. I can move from here over to doing the sides, because the sides are important. Look at this. Wow, I missed some side last time. Better fix that up right now. But it's actually, it's really fun to me to switch. It's really fun to, like, make progress despite doing lots of different things. I like projects where you're inspired to do every part of them. And even though it might seem like, placing just a bunch of netherrack on the end, it seems like a dull project. I am so excited to see the results of this, and that, like, is a thing that drives me forwards. Like, I kind of mentioned earlier that, like, also, see, they stole sand from that island and then teleported over here and dropped it. That is so frustrating. I didn't place that sand there. That sand was placed by an Enderman. And sand is not an easy resource to come across because I use it for so many things. Glass, draining oceans, and, so on and so forth. But that's a point for another time. Isn't a point for another time, though. I have a little announcement about the Let's Play world. First of all, we got... for the longest time, they were just sitting on it and being like, yeah, we don't really know when we're going to get around to this. Like, the longest, for any map to go up on the store, has to be reviewed, usually for obscenity reasons. I feel like I go for a lot more checks than anything else. Like, there's always, like, 5 different issues where they're like, we need you to change something about that. And basically they said, kind of simply, like, we want this world to be great for someone who's never heard of ToycatA, never heard of Let's Plays, and doesn't even know what the marketplace is. Like, if this is someone's first piece of marketplace content, they want it to be, like, a great thing. If you don't know, the Let's Play world, the one I play in, I'm putting it out there on the marketplace. The reason it's on the marketplace, you might be like, ToycatA, that's so selfish. And it's like, well, also, you can't eat while facing an Enderman. Today I learned. I was trying to eat and I was like, is the game lagging? And the answer is no. It's just going through a weird thing. But anyway, so I went through that or that, and I've been fixing it slowly with those signs, so that, like, if you didn't know what it was, I can, like, explain it, give you some fun commentary, etc., etc. Hopefully make the map better. I hid the discs around the world. It's something I wanted to do anyway, and I figured, like, rather than doing it in a later update, I guess I'll just do it now. And then the other thing was they have to turn off achievements on the world for it to work. Also, they have to turn off experimental gameplay. You might not know this, and, honestly, I wouldn't blame you if you don't. But this world has experimental gameplay turned on because they had a bunch of features that everyone was using in Minecraft, but they left them in experimental gameplay for a while. So if I wanted crossbows, I had to turn on experimental gameplay. And, you might think, like, oh, is that like using a snapshot or a beta? No, it's deliberately not a snapshot or a beta. They just put features they used to anyway. I'm glad they stopped doing this. But they used to put features just in experimental gameplay. It was a really weird time in Minecraft. But because of that, I can't have the world in experimental gameplay. And if I want to distribute the map, I have to, for the copy, put it out of survival. I don't have to prove we're in survival right now because I'm on a realm. But you can see right here, even though we're on a realm, survival's locked on. I physically cannot change that. Activate cheats. It's locked offwards. Yeah, I'm going to have to make the copy achievements off. And the reason for that, in case you're curious, it's actually, I can leave it in survival, but I can't leave it with achievements on. It's because they don't want people to be able to buy the map to skip achievements. And I thought that was kind of like, oh man, the one thing I wanted on the store was like a survival world without that turned off. But if you want to have it turned off, there's like a really... Basically, it's no. I'd say a specific set of rules. There's apparently no set of rules. It's apparently just arbitrary, like if they decide it. And the reason as to why is because any game that uses Xbox Live achievements has to make it so you can't buy yourself into those achievements. As best I understand it, like there are actual rules about that for semi-obvious reasons. I don't want people to only buy the map because they think it will get them achievements, and either does Microsoft apparently. So yeah, that's something we have to change. But that's the thing that broke my heart the most. Like, I think, like in the last week, I had like, some good days, some bad days. I felt like, like sometimes you feel like you're tending more in one direction than the other. But like in general, had some good days, had some bad days. But the thing that like devastated me for like reasons like once you like you process it, you come to think about it, you're like actually it makes some sense, right? That's how it needs to be done. But it's like one of the things I wanted forever, can't be done. And it's interesting to care so much about like a project that like something like that going wrong can hurt you. And I think that's like the downside of, I guess it's like, what are the downsides of caring? And the downsides of caring about something is that thing might go badly. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't care. It means it doesn't mean I shouldn't care. I'm trying to realize that about more and more things. Like, I'm so glad I don't I guess what I have this very strong tendency to like jump between lots of projects. Even right now, you're seeing it within the same project. I'm like jumping from place to place to place. I've considered like more than a few times during the course of this placement, like, what? It sure would be great to place some sand blocks over there. Could place the torches right now. I mean, I'm collecting a nice little batch of them, but then I'm like, no, I'm focusing on the Nevrac on the end stone, and at some point in this let's play, I'm sure I will switch over. But the idea of like being really passionate about things and like having to switch or whatever every so often seems kind of bad on the surface. It seems like, okay, so this is 1. Okay, this is 40. This should be 46. Did I nail it? Yes, I did. And wow, my flint and steel sure is running out. But I think caring about things is not always considered. It should not always be a bad thing. In fact, it should very rarely be. I think caring about things is great. Like, something every now and then I get someone who says, this is a weird thing to talk about because it kind of goes back into the topic of like, when you're complimented for something you don't like about yourself, there's 2 ways you can take it. You can be like, oh, that's so nice of you. Or you can be like, oh, it's a dumb compliment and it's a lie and like whatever else. I guess I'm like maybe super paranoid in that way. But so one of the things that like I see every now and then is like, oh, ToycatA, I'm so glad that you focus on you do things like the old way on YouTube, and you don't have like super like clickbait thumbnail concepts, etc. Whatever it is that they're saying. Like, oh, I love that you just have your Let's Plays and they're how they are. You don't try to hide them as something else. And this launch is like, actually, I don't think you should ever shame clickbait thumbnails. I guess you can shame them if they're like literally lying to you. But most of the time on YouTube, the smart ones, the ones that actually succeed, don't lie to you. They kind of like they make you lie to yourself. They give you an expectation and then they try to reach it. But the expectation is usually manageable and makes you want to click the video. That's what they're trying to go for. And the answer about like, oh yeah, that's real bad though. I prefer just to click on something because I want to click on it or whatever else. But it's like, on a statistical level, by the way, look at this. Slowly fix up my my flint and steel right there. But I always find that, and I'm like, actually, I think wanting people to succeed is a better thing to do. Like, I think the thing that's like much more preferable to that is like, I like clicking on your videos no matter what. It doesn't matter what you have. And that's like a much nicer thing because something I think something that's come across to me in this last week or two is that every now one of the only reason I've been able to do YouTube for so many years kind of is this like ability to like switch so often. Like the only series that has continued for the entire length of the entire like last 7 years is probably the Let's Play. Even Seed Sunday and Q&A Saturday, etc., have gone and they've come. Maybe you could argue making a speedrunning video every so often. Like that's one of the things that I've done continuously, but not in any regularity, has kept the channel going. But ultimately, like if you look at like the Let's Play, which is the most steady series on this channel, that you'd assume like, oh yeah, the most loyal like 10,000 ToycatA viewers are the ones watching that. If you actually look at the the views from a given week to another one, they do change entirely. You can argue as to why. Maybe literally the last 3 episodes got 72,000 for last week's, 26,000 for the week before, and then like 50,000 for the week afterwards. And it's like, I wonder. Either you can argue that like, oh yeah, just 50,000 people didn't find it one week, or more realistically, it's the same. It's more realistically the same. Maybe 20,000 people watching each time, and then some people will decide to watch or not based on the thumbnail. Some of those people might want to watch, but just be like, oh, I don't have time. I mean, he's just working on his board game collection. That was the least you'd want in case you're curious. Like that. I've seen the project. I'm not really done with it. Or you can make the argument that like a super flashy thumbnail that like lets you know that I'm missing something and raises the the mystique in your head about what is that something you're missing might get more people to click it. If this week, if more people watch this video because they're curious about why I'm putting mending on my flint and steel, is that a better thing because it leads to more people coming here, hanging out, and having a little chill time while we play some Nevrac. By the way, I want to look at this. Let me show you over there. I'm gonna fly over. Oh, it's so scary flying when there's a big drop. This is what it looks like so far. Again, I kind of like it. We've like started a growth. It looks like we're slowly taking over. I think when it's done, it'll look so cool, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Also, yeah, in case you're curious, there is 12 gold blocks in here, and then an efficiency, fortune, unbreaking pickaxe. See, this would be a good candidate for mending, but you know what? It's not a good candidate, so it stays in the box. Also, I probably should get rid of this beacon and move it back somewhere, because I don't think I'm doing too much more mining. We'll think about that in the future. Oh, it's so scary. Okay, we're gonna go down under here now. Oh, Christ, it's terrifying to me. And we're gonna try and place some Nevrac blocks at the very bottom edge of wherever we're going. And we can work out the rest later. Actually, that's a terrible idea too. Yeah, there's no easy way to place, you're covering the top of something really easy. Covering the side of something gets real messy real fast. But as long as if it's going to be like a grass block where I deliberately only cover the top and sides, the bottom will be left uncovered. Like, spoiler alert, my end is. But yes, I've been working on getting the Let's Play out to the world. Whenever there's something with Scorched, they request a lot of changes that I think make the map worse. Like in the end, I worked around those changes to make it better. I kind of following the letter of the rules, but not following the spirit, but not the letter, or following the letter, but not the spirit. You could say, deliberately, kind of pushing things a little bit to make a map I was still proud of, because that's always my thing. Like, if anyone has to actually play something, I want to be happy with it. I want to be proud of that whole thing. Like, there, a lot of teams, maybe the modern houses of the world don't have that same philosophy, and that's fine. Like, to them it's a business. They have to, release a modern house every 2 weeks, or they can't, feed the kids. I get why they can, they can be flippant about quality and they can not care about it. But to me, it's like, I want anyone who downloads a thing, even including the Let's Play, because, it's going to be cheaper than other maps, most other maps by a lot. It's mostly there to allow console users to download as well, but it's like, if it's paid, you want to make it good. You want to make people feel like it's worthwhile. But one of the interesting kind of side tangents I've been thinking about a lot, because this world that people will be able to check out and download or whatever, this one where I'm placing Nevrac all over the end, which I think will actually be in part of the map, because as of today, or tomorrow maybe, you're not sure, why not tomorrow as you're watching something election happen, tomorrow is when this will be solidified, and we'll again, any changes you see after tomorrow won't make it into the first version of the map, they'll make it into the first update. So, fun fact there. But so something that we think about, there's thousands of hours I put into this world, right? And okay. And as opposed to Scorch, or Trial Survival Scorch, which took maybe I don't know, 40, 50 hours, all things considered. Maybe a bit less, maybe a bit more, depending on what you consider be part of the map or not. Yeah, I definitely should be mining these blocks right here. I shouldn't be using a Silk Touch pickaxe. So I'll switch out to my non-unbreaking pickaxes, and I'll just stand on the edge right here as I hear Enderman being angry at me, because what could go wrong with that idea? But yeah, so I've been thinking about the value in things. We sometimes like to think oh yeah, the more work, the more value. But the truth is there's a lot of types of work we don't. There's a lot of things that are great that took someone no effort. We always like to point out the easiest examples of this took no effort and someone wants to charge for it. An example is, I think it's there's a lot of examples of this somewhere, I'm sure. I'm probably calling out someone specifically, but selling plain white shirts, but because you're a musician or because you're a artist, a fashion designer, I don't know what the terms are, honestly. But, being able to be oh yeah, so this one costs $600 because it's part of the collection, And people always look at that and they go, wow, I can't believe they're paying this amount for something that clearly took no time and it's just a plain white shirt. But the reason people pay for something is not just the time put in. It's like a lot of other factors. And so that means that even though this Let's Play world is technically thousands of hours of work, I still don't feel like fully comfortable like, oh, but like what if people, what do people really want from something? And that's the ultimate question about like what people want is something you don't know until they do. To mention that earlier example of like, did I want hello friend. Did I want a ice cream that had 3 times my daily sugar intake and made me throw up in the night? It's entirely possible. Yeah, I just realized I had the most like childlike. Sometimes we like to have dreams about our future, and we're like, yeah, when I'm an adult, I'll do that. I realized the one that I totally did yesterday for dinner, I just had pizza and ice cream. I had 1,000 calories of ice cream, probably like a half, probably a similar amount in pizza with soda or whatever. Not a healthy meal, but you know what? You better believe kid ToycatA, who's like, I wish I had just any money of my own, because obviously there wasn't too much where I came from. It's like, he's probably like, yeah, that's the dream right there. I've always thought the ultimate tragedy, when it comes to growing up, when it comes to like getting older, is like when I was a teenager, I used to play games all the time. Like, also, there's a little tunnel running through here, huh? Yeah, there is. Let's make this bigger. Let's maybe we should just keep this as a thing. But I always used to have the dream, the intention of like, I just want to play games. That's all I really want to do. Because the ultimate sadness thing to me was like, I could, again, there wasn't a lot of money, and the money that was there wasn't mine. So it was like, oh yeah, I want to, I want to play X game. And it's like, well, you can't play that game because it's brand new. It just came out. Of course you can't afford to play that one. So like I used to think like, man, it'd be so cool to be able to like just buy new games when they come out. Well, like whenever you watch me play like a brand new game on this channel, like for instance, I'm gonna play Black Ops Cold War. I don't know if that's what it's called. The one with the zombies in. It's Call of Duty, but it's zombies again. I'm gonna be playing that, and it's gonna be like, yeah, I can just buy that. That's real cool. And it's a business purchase. My business is at, so it's even cheaper than just if I was buying it straight up, right? And that's like one of the coolest things to me. But the downside of that is like I spend all day doing. You can call it not work if you want to, like playing games for work, like making Minecraft maps or making Let's Play videos where I incessantly complain about people who insist that everything has to have mending, because that's what entertainment is these days. Yeah, ultimately, it's cool to live a dream. I think it's my worldview that I don't think a lot of people agree with. But we're out of Nevrak. There's a perfect time to say we've done our bit today. Now we just need to go place some torches over on this place up here. I think that's going to be super useful to do that, honestly. If we just have a lot of torches, because as I look around this, I can see some very clear dark areas, and it's like, yeah, it makes sense how that happened. So we're going to go through here, we're going to grab all the torches we've gotten today, a whole 33 of them, and use them, especially for like this area right here. Let's just place enough torches so the Endermen don't spawn. And also, they pick up my cactuses, or my cacti. There's always a stickler who's like, it's actually cacti, ToycatA, not cactuses. My favorite thing in the world is being like, actually, Google cactuses, I think you'll find it's equally valid. Checkmate, friend. But yeah, the ultimate tragedy is that because, like, fundamentally, the thing that we mostly have that is valuable is our time. We have so much time when you're a child and you're legally not allowed to work and you're meant to be focusing on school, which I always found funny, like, oh, you can't have a job when you're young because you should be focusing on school instead. It's like, yeah, that's what I spent all those hours doing. When I completed Wind Waker, when I played Super Mario 64 for the 3rd time or whatever other game, I was really focusing on my school so hard with that. But I think there's 2 more shop boxes. Oh, we got a bunch of sandstone. I'm gonna use that sandstone as a place to put down all these torches, because that way they can't be picked up by Enderman. I think a lot better. So let's just remove the shovel, go around, place some sandstone, and on that sandstone, place some torches. Like right here, probably a bad place for a torch, actually. Right over here, probably a bad place for a torch. And then we can, that way because Enderman can't pick up sandstone, so they can't pick up my torches. And that way, at least in the meantime, until this place is fully lit up, we'll deal with the Enderman problem a little bit better, I hope. So, yeah, also, should I just do this in, like, straight lines or whatever? Like, so I can guarantee that it's fully lit up? I know the answer should be yes, but I also know it's not going to be. But the ultimate tragedy to me is the fact that you have too much time, not enough money when you're young, and then, like, as I've been growing, like, the time... I guess I have the same amount of time, but it's used on many different things. Many productive enterprises, perhaps we could say. But it ultimately means that, like, you're not got the ability to pay for games now, which is a cool upgrade, just not the time to play all of them. Or even really the desire. Like, there are so many games that come out, and it's like, why do I care, though? Like, do you have, the most recent one is Among Us. Among Us is very similar. I'd argue it's a worse version of one of the Jackbox games, but, like, you're not meant to criticize the game that's hot on YouTube at any given point in time. So Among Us is this really great game that I don't like because I don't have any friends, which, it's not true, but actually, like, it's like, ooh, yeah, it's just, the only fun in that game is that you're playing with friends, right? You're having, like, fun. You're learning which of your friends is, willing to lie to you the best in exchange for, like, winning a video game. And it's like, that's an interesting experiment. But it's like, yeah, I don't want to play that. That would be a bad and not fun use of my time, if nothing else. Let's kill some Endermen, and let's hope they don't respawn. Who am I kidding? They're gonna respawn. But see, right there, just in case you think I'm making this up, and that they can't have taken all of the sand. Lots of Endermen all taking 1 block of sand each equates to a lot of sand being lost in the end. Come back with my sand. Look how many of them have my sand in their hands. Give me back my sand blocks. This is not okay. I do not agree with your theft. I am not condoning it. Where did the sand go? Okay. All the ones with sand, they're getting taken out. I guess if they already have a block of sand, they can't take any more. If nothing else, that's the positive way of thinking about it. Okay, blocks of sand. You're going down, and my flint still's getting repaired, because that's what I want from life. But anyway, so yeah, ultimately, I think there's a fun balance to be had between time and money. I sometimes wonder if it's like if it's tragic, or and then I think, like, maybe ultimately being able to having more interests isn't a bad thing. Like, because one of the things that I can't do, I would really love to speedrun Minecraft and be like the best in the world or whatever. It's like, man, the amount of my time that it would take to do that. Maybe it's better to not do certain things sometimes. Also, this is a weird chest, huh? I guess we'll leave that be. There's a lot of weird chests around here, huh? There's a lot of weird chests, including some torches, which is nice. Yeah, it's very weird. It's very weird. Trying to have a village in the end, by the way. I don't recommend it. There aren't a huge number of benefits, but it is very it is very interesting to look at sometimes. But speaking of things that are interesting to look at sometimes, this video is coming to its end. I know it's a tragedy, but I had a lot of fun being here. Why is this like that? There's so many questions about, like, even I did this only a year ago, but I'm still like, why did I bring a rabbit here? And why does the cat want to kill the rabbit? Like, there's a lot of questions I have about the world. I might bring some cows out here as well, actually. I think I want to bring, like, a whole little farm out into the end. That might be some fun. But yeah, with that said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to, I'm not going to do the YouTube thing where I tell you to like the video, subscribe, register to vote, and hit that bell if you want to see more of these. But I will say, thank you for watching. Thank you for making a dream of mine possible. That to play games. And I realized, like, I've been, like, by making these maps, I'm kind of, like, making mini games, which is what I always wanted to do when I was younger. But thank you for making all of these things possible. And I hope that you have a great day as a result of that. Unless you don't have a great day, in which case I hope your day gets better. Actually, no. Even if your day's bad, I hope you still have a great one. There's still hope. You can still have a great day. I believe in you. You can do it. You can do it. Okay, so we place a fire there, and then at 34 we place a fire, and now we've lit up this side as well. Even more fires, even more Enderman death, and even more thank you for watching, because I'll see you all in the next one. Beth. Yeah, there's going to be a Beth who watches this, is going to be like, my god, he's speaking to me. I'm not speaking to you. I'm speaking to Jim. Yeah, you, Jim. No one's actually called Jim anymore. That's the problem. It's 2020. No one has names like that. I need to get better at generic names. You know, I'm speaking to you, Andrew. We share the same name, and we share the same game. Am I right? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'll see you all next time. Also, you know, I'll probably do this in a live stream soon. So if you want to come watch a live stream, hang out, talk about the universe while placing Nevrak, you better believe we can finish this island or something. Okay. Goodbye. Oh, I do not like this boat placement at all. Oh no. Oh, 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 this hurts. This hurts. Okay, we're good now.